And certainly a big video out there left to do, guys, on this week. That's going to be the topic of Fedmyster and Pokimane. I'm sure a lot of you guys a few days prior saw the Fedmyster exposing a Pokimane with a 25-page leaked document, which seemed weird because the two had supposedly talked about this, and then all of a sudden a 25-page expose of Pokimane was leaked. We'll talk more on that in a second, and in case you guys do want other sources out there, I would say Scarce alongside Destiny did great breakdowns in full length. I'm going to give you guys probably a quicker thought and TLDR, at least on my thoughts and interpretations of the situation. If you guys want to check them out, they do a great job breaking down a very complex and complicated situation stemming back at least a couple of years into very private matters. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, when it comes time for addressing the first accusations made against Fedmyster, very, very serious. He did nothing legally wrong, but certainly over a handful of people had accused him of creepily maybe taking things a step too forward, a step too far, including inappropriate touching. Those are the initial accusations. Now, over 5 months ago, he has now posted a response of Pokimane of what he says was manipulation emotionally, misleading people with the truth and her accusations against him, and potentially lying as well, which initially was not a good look for Pokimane either. But I must make note, just like Fedmyster's previous accusations, she did nothing legally wrong, and in my opinion, what she even was accused of by Fedmyster does not even come close to the original accusations against him. He is now coming forth with this said document, and he claims he did not leak it to at least clear the air a little bit on the image of his, which was destroyed by Pokimane and offline TV crew members. And in this 25-page document, which has since been deleted, if you guys want to check out Destiny's elaboration on this, he goes into great length about the text and everything detailed in that post. I would say the main gist of this, though, he's accusing Pokimane of misleading people in her response on the Fedmyster situation and accusations with either lies or leaving out full information on certain situations, but she also manipulated him emotionally in their time together. And I will say, based off reading the initial text in his expose, it did seem like she was leading him on. In my interpretation, if someone did talk to me the way that she was talking to Fed, it seemed very clear and obvious that Fedmyster felt a bit more strongly about her than she did about him. He also goes on to state about the Yvonne situation that it was Pokimane wanting Yvonne fired and not Fedmyster, like she had led people to believe, as well as other OTV members had. And I would say those are the most important parts about this. The emotional manipulation and the potential misleading of him is what people did respond to a lot. And again, after watching Destiny's video and reading these text messages, it seemed, at least in my opinion, fairly one-sided. I don't think Pokimane was ever straightforward and said, hey, we can't be more than friends. At least that's what we had been shown. And now Pokimane has now fully responded with an equally lengthy response as well, also broken down by other sources out there. But I'll give you guys the general gist of what she does do, showing evidence and refuting pretty much a majority of the claims that Fedmyster came out with. And again, in my own interpretation, not a good look at all for Fedmyster with the text messages she provided in her document to back up what she was saying. As she quickly shows full context on the Yvonne situation, which Fed had left out of his response, showing how Fed had complained about her for months to several members, and this was before the other OTV members had even known about the inappropriate touching, which also occurred by Fedmyster on Yvonne. And once they found out about this is when OTV actually called the meeting and intervention of Fedmyster. And another huge part was the supposed relationship Fed and Pokimane had, which was clearly more, at least to me, one-sided, and yeah, albeit maybe misleading. But if you read the initial text in Destiny's video, it seemed obvious Fed felt a lot more than Pokimane did, and she even says back in 2018 she let him know she did not want things to go even further or to be more than friends.
And again, I never wanted to intentionally hurt him or want him to feel bad. Obviously, I, at this point, don't think he was trying to do that to me either. Just think that some moments were like really inconsiderate. But anyways, looking back, I should have been more aware and careful of how I acted around him, so there are no signals to misread, but you know, hindsight 2020. And I learned a lot from the situation. To me, in all honesty, it's really, all of this is really not all that important. It's regular 20-year-old relationship bullshit. He said, she said, blah, blah, you know, nothing that important happened, in my opinion. What I shared about the Steve situation is my honest truth. And I feel like it is just really irrelevant in comparison to the incident that actually triggered all of this, if that makes sense.
And then on the situation where Fed had apparently told a guy, as he referred to as Steve, that he and Pokey were a thing and not to tell her about it, which Fed brings back up and denies in his exposing piece. Pokey then claims that this actually did happen, and Fed even apologized to her for it. So the main points that I saw actually refuted by Pokimane, first of all, the Yvonne situation, and I think Destiny put it well. It seemed everyone wanted Yvonne out, but given the sensitivity of the situation, don't want to make too much light of that, she does refute what Fedmyster had said, and apparently Fedmyster tries to paint it that it was actually Pokimane who wanted her fired, when in reverse, we have Pokimane showing texts and conversations that he was complaining about her and potentially wanting her fired, and then, after all of that, offline TV crew finds out about the inappropriate touching, and that's when they call a meeting about that, about the reported Steve case, where apparently a guy named or referred to as Steve, apparently Fedmyster had told him that he, that being Fedmyster and Pokimane, were a thing, and not to tell Pokimane that he had actually said that. Even Pokimane showing that Fedmyster had apologized for that circumstance, despite in his own expose of Pokimane, Fedmyster denies that being the case. And so it becomes a he says, she says, but she showed more evidence kind of thing here. And then even more so, I would say mostly for public response out there, the biggest part of this, that being Pokimane misleading and emotionally manipulating Fedmyster, which I would say probably has the most backing, if any, in this case. Certainly, there was a lot of text messages exchanged between these two, and some were sexual. But apparently Pokimane shows that back in 2018, she made it very clear she did not want to be more than friends. So you're kind of just left wondering, will we ever know the full truth of that? But from what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem Pokimane is near as criminal or near as guilty as Fedmyster did expose her for being so. And in fact, even in his own expose, which somehow, let's think about this, magically leaked, seems a bit odd. Of course, the damage was done. Even in that expose, he had lied or left things out, which ironically is what he called out Pokimane for doing. Let me be honest though, with all of these exposés coming out, right, 20 plus page pieces, it doesn't look good for anyone involved. There will now always be people going forward who think Pokimane is a liar and misleading and manipulative, and vice versa. I think this looks even worse for Fedmyster because he was exposed for very serious accusations, and then when he tries to expose Pokimane, even there he leaves out the full truth or potentially could be lying as well. Overall, it's a bad look for everyone, unfortunately so, and it comes down to who you believe and who you don't, and what evidence was shown. So yeah, I know a lot of people out there are gonna hate both sides, and feel free to do so. I will just not forget what 100 Thieves member and streamer and creator Yasuo, otherwise known as Mo, came out and said around the initial Fedmyster accusations, how he will never trust him again, he will never like him again for the manipulation he actually went through as well. I will never forget that statement, and that statement seems to ring true even in the exposing of Pokimane. Pokimane is probably not 100% innocent in this, but I would say, in my opinion, not looking near as bad, as she has refuted a lot of the evidence and shown her own evidence, and that's my take. What do you guys think about this? But I just will keep on thinking about this Yasuo clip where he clearly is very emotional about the moment.
Can't get into it because it's just going to bring up more stuff in the past that you guys either don't know about, or I don't want to have to explain and get more of drama involved. So I can't really talk about it, guys. Sorry. But take my word for it. It wasn't just a situation where he did fucked up shit to the girls like Yvonne or Lily. He did fucked up shit to almost every girl in that group, whether it was manipulation, lying, sexual harassment, whatever it was. He pretty much did something wrong to every single girl. But not only that, he literally committed the ultimate bro sin to me. That's all I can really say. He literally, he did shit that you shouldn't ever do to your friends. And the thing is with that, chat, stop please saying Bella stuff. It's weird. Stop being weird, please, before I have to sub mode the chat. Please, don't be weird. It's a serious topic. He did shit that, one, you should never do in general. You should never do as a fucking friend. And then the thing is, to me, the most fucked up part is when he called me and explained the situation to me and downplayed the situation. He didn't apologize about anything really to me. He pretty much downplayed it to me and acted like nothing happened. And the thing is, to me, is when shit hits the fucking fan for him, and all of offline pretty much is already kicking him and know the shit's fucked up and he's not gonna live in the house. The fact that he couldn't come out and tell me the whole truth or tell me that he's wronged me in the past as if I wouldn't find out is even more fucked up, you know? Like, that shit was like, dude, like, what the fuck, bro? Like, really, after everything going on, you really, like, are still trying to hide shit from me? Don't cry. I'm not gonna cry, dude. I don't care. Like, or not, I don't care. But honestly, to me, I didn't get emotional. I didn't get fucking sad. Like, I had, like, no emotion. I don't know why I've had no emotion for the past 2 days, but I think literally it's because of how fast stuff it happened. This is a guy that I've literally been one of my best friends. I literally lived with him for over a month. I stayed with him. I went to fucking parties. I went to events. I went everywhere with him. We were literally stuck to each other like fucking glue at events. I was always talking about girls. He's always talking to me about girls. I literally told him, like, pretty much, there was a time where, remember, I was going through my depression and my anxiety shit, like last year, late 2019. Literally, I talked to 2 people the most about it. I talked to Ibrahim, my roommate, who's like literally my best friend. And then I also talked to Fed about it. Those are the only 2 people that I talked to about it. So that should show you how much I trusted him, pretty much. And the fact that I feel like, I'm not going to go into it once again, but the stuff that I told him while I was depressed and anxious, and like him helping me, the fact that he used the shit I told him against me, and did shit that like made me more sad. I didn't know at the time, obviously, but I found out now that he did more fucked up shit than you can imagine. Like, it's something unforgivable. You can't go back
and that is why, guys, a prime example of why you leave relationships out of work. It's just, it's a situation I didn't really want to dive into, especially when it became such private matters with all these texts involved and nothing illegal being done. But it's a bad look for everyone involved, and I hope it does get cleared up a little bit. I don't think Pokimane is near as guilty as she is being portrayed, in a response that refuted a lot of what Fedmyster has accused her of. So I guess it comes down to, who do you guys believe? What side are you taking here? Is there even a side to be taken? We'll find out in the future. Until next time, hope you guys all enjoy. I'll see you back here sometime soon. Take care.